take our country to that level. Raila vows to recover. Now, this is a front page story. Deputy President's acquisition of 2,500 acres in Taita Taveta has come under scrutiny. Raila vows to recover grabbed land from Ruto. DP says that he possesses receipts for the land he owns and dares President Kenyatta to produce his. The accusation is that in a letter to the Ministry of Lands, let me just zoom in here. Okay, it's not cooperating, but in a letter to the Ministry of Lands and various agencies, Azimio wants Lands Cabinet Secretary Farida Karone to preserve the status quo of the title documents of 2,500-acre parcel in Taita Taveta acquired by DP Ruto, pending formation of a commission of inquiry to investigate the matter, which will be established if Mr. Odinga wins the presidency in the August elections. The DP had earlier explained that he was gifted the land by former MP Basil Criticus after he helped him pay off a loan from AFC, that is the Agricultural Finance Corporation. And they further accused the DP of illegally acquiring a 976-acre parcel from former Vice President Joseph Murumbi in Transmara. Daisy, what do you make of this?
You know, this politics of ours is dirty politics. Do they have proof that what the deputy president is saying is not true? If so, we have due process, the rule of law, you know, should take center stage. So I think that some of these accusations out there, they're not helpful. Land is a very emotive issue. And, you know, when you start talking about, especially land in Taita Taveta, it is so controversial because there are some very, very big names at play. Basil Criticus is still alive. So it is very easy to verify whether or not indeed he gifted this land, you know. If the other accusations of acquisition of land were done through abuse of office, and we know that that is a common practice and has been for several years, since independence, actually. The Dongo land report is yet to be implemented. So I would rather hear Right Honorable Raila Odinga talk about how he will implement the Dongo land report and address issues of land grabbing. So that you're not pointing at an individual, because this is it's a chronic problem in Kenya, and it affects very many people who have used and abused their the state offices and public positions, offices that have been entrusted, positions of trust in this country, to acquire huge swaths of land and have become billionaires. And this is since independence. So for me, this is political. This is a political statement, you know. And as I was telling Chamatia here when we were talking earlier on, is that I remember Mandago once said that hii mambo ya siasa usiweke kwa roho, weka kwa lungs, upumue. Because tomorrow, you see, you incite people with these kind of statements, you know, that, hey, this is the thief and we are going to deal with them. But when their politics doesn't work out, these guys go, they shake hands. And it's very likely from the way things are setting up that there is a handshake in the offing, you know. So at the end of the day, what are you going to do with now these seeds of discord that they have sown among you? So I think that our leaders need to prioritize issues of the rule of law and not make public statements, especially about emotive issues like land.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jamatia?
First of all, I want to say we might not have handshake, because we are, at least this time around we are going to win. As a Kenya Kwanza, I believe we are going to win first round. But that said and done, the issue of the land in Taita Taveta is just a political statement made by Honorable Raila Odinga. Honestly, if we want to talk about issues of land in this country today, I think the first names, there are people in this country that you don't need to look for their titling and their names or their pieces of land. You just need to scoop Kenya aside and pick, you know, part of Kenya, and every part of the rest of the Kenya is going to be their land. The simplest way is, if you talk about Taita Taveta and land, we've been having issues of land injustices cutting across centuries, courtesy of the colonial and the Kenyatta family issues on land in the coast. Let's start from there. So when you talk about a small piece of land, which was actually bought or someone has it, I mean, it means if I go to Taita Taveta today and buy a piece of land, it has to be marked because it is, I mean, it's not somebody else who has the land. Mm. As Amdan has just said, critical is alive. To use this as an agenda in politics is actually very wanting for Azimio presidential candidates. Okay. Not only that, we have a lot of problems in this country. That cannot be an agenda of this matter. Because if you want to talk about land issues has been very emotive, first of all. It's like trying to poke into a problem that is already there, or some wound, so that you can get the, you know, I mean, the pain from the person who is being victimized on this. Because again, I cannot criminalize anyone who has land. If you want to talk about issues of land, go to Ndumu's report. It is so well articulated there that who has land, who acquired fraudulently, and all those issues about land. That aside, I am a candidate in this election. And let me tell you, Kenyans are very specific on who wants to talk about their issues. When I hear people mentioning names sometimes and trying to put emotive issues on personalities and problems, dealing with people's issues, it takes me back to when you go to the ground and you listen to people. People are so specific. They want food. And that is why, again, they are using food as a political bait, because that is where you can only colonize at this time. Okay. And the high cost of living. Right. So I want to say, first thing first, I don't think there will be any handshake. Because we are done with this handshake thing. We just want to do our elections, win, and go home.
All right, Esther, is this an attempt to play up the Arab Singh label?
First of all, we are talking about land. The Kenyatta family has a massive land. And I am so shocked that if our sports people going to Naivasha, they have to borrow land to do safari rally, then we start from that point. Secondly, we have land issue. If they have to recover from His Excellency William Samoei Ruto, then they have to recover from the people like Matiang'i, who had a case of Ruaraka saga that we never saw it come into play. So if it's about, you know, recovering grabbed land, then we have a lot to do as a country, because we will have a lot. And actually, when I don't really want to speak for William Ruto, but I would also want William Ruto to take a chunk of land from the family and give it to poor people, and also settles the people who are affected by post-election violence back in Naivasha. Okay. That's my take.
All right. So let's quickly get through the newspaper. Priscilla Nyokafi is expected at any moment. I imagine she must have encountered some delay on her way here. Kenya, UK and UN open anti-terror operations center. The 81 million shilling station has detention facilities and will serve as ATPU headquarters. A picture here of Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i and the British High Commissioner Jane Marriott during the opening of the anti-terrorism center at the Coast Regional Police Headquarters in Mombasa yesterday. And moving on up here, the spat between the office of the DCI and the DPP seems to not have ended. Kinoti is not on my level, DPP Haji now says. And supremacy battles between the chief prosecutor Nuruddin Haji and top detective George Kinoti escalated yesterday when the former claimed he ranks way higher than the battle-hardened sleuth. The director of public prosecutions said he only works with the Inspector General of Police Hilary Mutyambai, who oversees the operations of the Directorate of Criminal Investigations. Revealed police shot Nakuruddin 5 times over gang suspicion. Maribe fights off Madalink as a trial comes to an end. And take-homes from Gachagua Karua deputies debate. As I mentioned,